Good evening. Ah. Could everybody take their seats?
I think the speaker's on. Is it on?
No.
It's on.
It is?
It's on.
Turn it up.
You're just getting over one.
Could everybody take their seats, including the young man in the dress down there? Okay, just remind me on. Okay, this is the last time, so let's do it right this time. Good evening, everyone.
Good evening. There you go.
That was so good. Let's do it again. Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Okay, call the meeting to order. And we'll start with the Pledge of Allegiance. And we'll ask Mr. Lund to please lead us, if you would. Thank you, Mark. Roll call, please.
Councilmember Luevanos.
Here.
Councilmember Kavanaugh.
Here.
Councilmember Judge.
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Litster.
Here.
Mayor Mashburn.
Here. Okay, agenda review. Are there any items for agenda review?
Mr. Mayor, we do have one item. We want to continue to the next meeting, the presentation from the COA, which is item 3C1. So that will be removed from the agenda this evening.
Thank you. Is that it?
I move that all resolutions and ordinances presented tonight be read in title only and all further reading be waived.
Second.
Could you read that again? I didn't quite hear it.
I move that all resolutions and ordinances presented tonight be read in title only and all further reading be waived.
That's the last time you got to say that.
I know.
So I guess that's the last time you're going to say
I
that.
think that's going to be the last time.
Okay, so we have,
Tradition is the youngest or the newest person gets to read that, just for those of you who don't know that. That's why this is my last time. But
okay, we have a motion and second. Call for the vote.
The motion passes unanimously.
Okay. Declaration of conflict. If any member of the city council may have a conflict of interest or any reason why that member must abstain from consideration of any matter on this agenda, he or she should so declare at this time. Any? And that was my official last time reading that. So we're tied.
Mr. Mayor, members of the City Council, the first item on the agenda is item 1D1, presentation of an honorary resolution for Chief David Livingstone in recognition of his retirement from the City of Simi Valley Police Department. And City Manager Gabler will be presenting this item.
Thank you. Yes, Mr. Mayor, it's both my pleasure and disappointment to read this. If we can ask the chief to come forward. Whereas David M. Livingstone was appointed chief of the Simi Valley Police Department on March 13th, 2017, and whereas As chief of the Simi Valley Police Department, David Livingstone led the staff of dedicated law enforcement professionals in both sworn and civilian capacities, all committed to performing their duties with the highest degree of professionalism. And whereas Chief Livingstone began his law enforcement career with the Simi Valley Police Department on August 1, 1988, as a police aide, during his career he served as a patrol officer, senior officer, detective, sergeant, lieutenant, commander, and deputy chief. Chief Livingstone also served as the crisis negotiation team sergeant and was a member of the SWAT team for 7 years and was team commander for 5 of those years. And whereas Chief Livingstone has earned accolades throughout his career and was recognized in 1995 by MAD for 103 DUI arrests and by the U.S. Secret Service for his role as incident commander in planning and managing Operation Serenade, funeral services for First Lady Nancy Reagan. Chief Livingstone also was honored by the Ventura County Fire Department in 2003 for assisting while off duty in the rescue of 2 children stuck in their car seats after the vehicle had become disabled with a ruptured gas tank and a fuel spill. Now, therefore, be it resolved by the City Council of the City of Simi Valley that I hereby commends Chief David M. Livingstone upon his retirement and desires to honor him for his service to the citizens of Simi Valley and extends him its best wishes on his retirement, presented this 12th day of December, 2022.
Could we have our county district attorney, Eric Nasarenko, step forward, please? Not often I get to boss around a DA. That's pretty cool.
Good evening, Mayor Mashburn, members of the City Council, City Manager Gabler, and I'd like to acknowledge Councilmember-elect Rhodes and also acknowledge Mayor-elect Thomas and give my thanks to Mayor Mashburn as well as Councilmember Luevanos for your years of outstanding service, and my congratulations to Councilmember Judge. For those of you who know Chief Livingstone, you know about his 34 years of commitment to public safety and making sure that this remains one of America's safest cities. But many of you may or may not know that he also holds a doctorate. That this is an individual who has a doctorate in history from the University of California, San Diego. And it's incredibly impressive. He wrote his dissertation on the democratization and re-civilizing of German border police in West Germany, years 1950 to 1977. A distinguished academic, a cerebral thinker, but also a chief of police who cares deeply about community policing, about public safety, and making sure that all of us in the city of Simi Valley and the county of Ventura are safe and secure each and every day. Chief Livingstone, I have worked with you personally for the last 2 years, and I will share with your council and the public what we all know. You are a consummate leader. You are an exemplary professional. And whenever I had a query, a question, you always returned my call, got back to me. You were thorough, comprehensive, and always the professional that we see here today. It is my pleasure to give to you this plaque, a small token of recognition and remembrance. It reads as follows. It's presented to Chief David Livingstone in recognition of your 34 years of excellence and service to Simi Valley, its police department, the residents of Simi Valley, and to the great county of Ventura. On today's date, December the 12th, 2022. Thank you.
don't go away. We've got you for a little while longer. Could I get the council to meet me down in front, and we'll present a resolution to the chief? Where's Mike Judge? We'll have you read this. You can just say the words.
I think that's the one I just read, Mr. Mayor.
Okay, good job, Brian. Yeah, the whole idea is to make Mike read these long resolutions. But he'll just count the whereases, and we'll know the importance based on that. 4 whereases? I don't think we're going to let you go. You're going to go back to work. But I think each of us understand how great of a job you've been doing for the last 5 years as the chief, and for the last 34 as a police officer in our city. And we certainly appreciate it. And I'll pass the mic around, let each person, I think that you're more than worthy of that, and we appreciate so much that you've done.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. My congratulations on your retirement. You've done an outstanding job for our city. Couldn't ask more from any other person. You've lived and breathed CBPD since you got on the job, and it's noted in your way you do your job, the way you treat your people, and the way the officers like him, which is an amazing thing for a chief of police. So congratulations on your retirement.
Well, I was hoping this day wasn't going to come, but I guess it's here. Congratulations. I know you're leaving for good reasons, but it's a sad day for us here in Simi Valley, but you've left us with a wonderful department. Yeah, of course, Gene's waving back there. And Deputy Chief Shorts. It is really nice to know how well respected you are in our community, but you're also very well respected outside of our community. And that just goes to show you what a great job you've done and how much we appreciate you and how much we're going to miss you. And I think you forgot to say he started in a donut shop, right? Yeah, we should have had that whereas in there. So, but congratulations to you. Congratulations to you and your family. Thank you.
So, David, this is particularly bittersweet, and you know that. I probably know this man before I knew this wonderful group of people to work with. Because this man, when I had a young son who got involved in an activity that he wasn't a part of, but you don't need the whole story, but this young man stepped in Mr. Integrity, and said, I'm going to find out the truth. And because of his integrity and wisdom and fairness and willingness to look at everything, my son has a finding of factual innocence. But it was because that Mr. David Livingstone was willing to work and go the extra mile, and I don't think that was part of your requirement in the job hiring. Anyway, so I don't normally share that story, but because he is that special to me, that he is a member of my family in that regard. So, but he has served us well, fairly, ethically, honestly. He has ensured a safe, wonderful community. And David, I am really sorry you're retiring, but we know that your family and other loved ones are so fortunate that they're going to get more of your time. And I suspect Dr. David Livingstone is probably going to be teaching at several universities in the area. So if you two want some of his wisdom, maybe you can sign up and take a class from him. But thank you, David. We really, really appreciate all you've done.
Well, I want to thank you for establishing a precedent that I hope will go on in the future. You had the community town halls where the community was able to come in and speak to the police department, speak to you directly. You were always available in terms of email or phone call, and I appreciate that about you. And I hope the new chief, whoever that may be, I'm looking around the room, will make sure that we continue to have that communication between the community and the police department. I want to thank you for showing up to the Black Lives Matter March, for allowing everyone to have a voice in the city. That really meant a lot to the youth and to the future. And I wish you luck and congratulations on your retirement, Chief.
Okay, all right. First off, I want to thank the entire community for the privilege of having this job and serving as your chief of police. And I want to thank Brian Gabler and the entire council and all the city staff, people that I've worked with over the last few years. I couldn't have succeeded without your support. Most of all, I want to thank the officers. They're out there doing the job every day, and I always tell them, you guys make me look good because I get to go and receive a lot of the accolades that they may never get to hear because they're just out there doing the job. And so I'm really proud of the work they've done. I was born and raised in this community. I literally, this was an orange grove, and I used to play in this orange grove. I grew up about a block away, so really, if you look at my life, it's been in this like 2 square miles. So, I mean, the best thing I can say is that I just feel really privileged and blessed to have been given the opportunity to be a police officer here, let alone the chief. I mean, like they said, I started in a donut store, and I walked into the police station at 19 years old, and I went on a ride-along, and from that point on, I knew that it was a job I wanted to do, and I wanted to be able to do it in the community that I grew up in and went to school in. And so, I just want to thank you for this. I've been very fortunate. A lot of people that I started out with in law enforcement, they're no longer with us, and they know they didn't get through their careers. It's a tough job. We ask a lot of our police officers, and they need your support. But what's great about this community is it's always been there, and we're really privileged to have that. So thank you very much. It's a bittersweet. I'm going to miss it. But I'm, leaving the department in good hands, and I know that the tradition that I stood on the shoulders of a lot of police officers is still going to be there, and it's going to continue that legacy. So thank you very much.
Anybody want to photograph this?
Mr. Mayor and members of the City Council, the next item on the agenda is item 1D2, presentation of certificate of appreciation to outgoing Community Development Block Grant Advisory Committee member, and Julia Ramirez is here to present this item.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, members of the City Council. At this time, I would like to ask Ms. Pamela Campo to please come forward. This evening, we recognize an outgoing member of the Community Development Block Grant Advisory Committee. The committee members are committed to the city's continued efforts to provide services and community improvements to low and moderate income residents. During her tenure, this committee member diligently reviewed, evaluated, and recommended funding allocations that benefited Simi Valley residents. Please join me in congratulating the outgoing committee member, Ms. Campo, on a job well done.
It's quite amazing the work that Pam does in this city. Everywhere you go, whether it be the chamber or who knows which of our several nonprofits, she is there making things happen. So we appreciate you very much. This is only a certificate for this particular entity, not for everything else you do. So we want you to hang around. Okay? Like to say something?
No, thanks, I'm good.
Okay, okay, thank you.
Mr. Mayor, members of the City Council, the next item on the agenda is item 2, public statements on appointments, special presentations, and informational reports. This is the time for anyone in the chambers who would like to recognize outgoing Councilmember Luevanos and Mayor Mashburn to come up and speak. If you wish to speak, please fill out a speaker card. Mr. Mayor, would you like me to begin?
Okay, if we have all of those good comments for myself and
Right here.
Councilmember Luevanos, okay, we're ready to go.
Okay, Richard Perini.
I'd like to thank Mayor Mashburn for his time in public service, whether it was in serving the fire department in the county or here in the city. I think you're going to leave a hole that I hope our new council can fill in your moral standards. I think a lot of the people appreciate what you've done, and you've put yourself first. Service above self was, I think, your example. And I hope the new council can look to your efforts in the past and replicate those. But I just simple thank you. Good luck.
Thank you.
Caitlin Brooks. Caitlin Brooks.
Good evening. I have an announcement from VCTC now. Is the appropriate time for that? Yes, okay. Hello, Mayor and council members. My name is Caitlin Brooks, and I'm the Program Manager for Transportation Planning for the Ventura County Transportation Commission. I'm here to announce the release of our draft Ventura County Comprehensive Transportation Plan. The CTP is a long-range planning document adopted by VCTC that will plan the future of transportation in the county for the next 20 to 30 years. The draft incorporates socioeconomic data, community priorities, and local transportation solutions, while also placing a special emphasis on the inclusion of disadvantaged and underserved communities to create a more equitable transportation future for all. I think the best way to describe the plan is that it's similar to a city's general plan, but it's focused on transportation at the regional level. The draft is available on our website, goventura.org/CTP, and we're looking for feedback from the public to submit comments by January 10th, 2023. We've shared a draft with the VCTC Technical Advisory Committee that includes representatives from the city, and we look forward to your review of the plan. While I'm here, I also wanted to announce some initial results of the Youth Ride Free program that was launched earlier this year. Through the Youth Ride Free program, anyone age 18 or younger is eligible to use fixed route or dial-a-ride services for free. Students older than 18 who are enrolled in high school are also eligible. Riders can travel to any destination at any time, not just to get to and from school. And in October, the second month of the program, there were 83,000 youth rides on Ventura County buses, accounting for 23% of total ridership. The College Ride and Youth Ride Free programs combined accounted for 32% of all transit rides. So we're excited to share the initial numbers, and we think this will likely lead to a rise in transit ridership. Thank you for your time, and we look forward to your review of the CTP. Thank you. I also have flyers on Youth Ride Free. If anyone would like one, I can leave some. Thanks.
Thank you.
Jeff Pike.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, council members. I'm here tonight on behalf of Ventura County Fire Chief Dustin Gardner. We would like to thank Council Member Luevanos and Keith Mashburn on behalf of the fire department and the continued partnership that we've had over the years with the city of Simi Valley and the fire department. So we really appreciate the service you've provided to us, and we look forward to the partnership that will continue with the new leadership on the council. So once again, thank you very much. And Mayor Mashburn, we really do appreciate, were a firefighter for many years for Ventura County Fire Department, and it showed your commitment to us over the years and acknowledging the importance to public service and public safety. So we really appreciate that. Wish you the best of luck in your future endeavors. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Chief.
Brett Taylor.
Hi, Keith. How you doing, buddy?
I'm still the mayor.
What? I did the fire department with Keith. We all go miss ya, and hope you have fun with your wife at Texas. Drive safe, and keep us posted. And we love you, and have a good night.
Thank you, brother.
Anthony Angelini.
Distinguished council, honorable mayor, I hold in my hand a relic from a bygone era. I'm the former district director for former state assemblywoman Suzette Valadares. At the time we ordered this, she was still the state representative representing Simi Valley. So I do find it appropriate that I present it here today. And I'd like to thank Assemblywoman Irwin for extending me the professional courtesy to allow me to present this to you. They told me when I started getting involved in politics that I would be quickly burnt out and that you get jaded and that you become cynical. And that was starting to happen around 2019, 2020 when I met you. And actually, you taught me something. Taught me that you can have a sense of humor about what we do. And you can also have integrity. And your work makes a difference. And I learned that very quickly. And by the time I was brought onto Assemblywoman Valadares' staff, I had lost that jadedness and that cynicism, and I actually started to believe that we could actually do stuff and actually make a difference in local government. And I'd like to personally thank you. On behalf of former State Assemblywoman Suzette Valadares in the 38th Assembly District, I'd like to present you with this certificate of this resolution from the State Assembly. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, here.
Anthony, can you just tell me how many whereases are on there?
Oh, there's a record number of whereases.
Just ask.
Chelsea Kennedy.
I have to say that's the first time I've been called Chelsea Kennedy since I got married. So that was like, oh, that's me. That was shocking. Council, mayor, on behalf of Ventura County Board of Supervisor Bob Huber's office, we wanted to present you both with these resolutions. I haven't counted the whereases yet, Mayor Keith, but I will for you. So we'll just start with Ruth. I just wanted to thank you for all of your work you have done with the city of Simi Valley. We have seen the hard work you've put into making sure everybody feels included, no matter who they are, where they are, what they believe. We really appreciate that. That is something we all need nowadays. So thank you very, very much for that. And then Keith, you've been a great mayor. You followed our very own Bob Huber. Big shoes to fill, and I'd say you did it. You've done outstanding things as mayor for this city, and we cannot thank you enough for the things that you've done for the community. On a personal note, we're going to miss you in our house. I feel like, you have been a staple in our family. I'm going to speak from me and my dad here. You've been friends forever. So we're going to miss you. Texas is lucky to have you. We're very sad for our community, but we are excited for our incoming mayor, Fred Thomas. He's going to do great things.
Yes.
But we do have both of these, so I just wanted to present both of these resolutions to you guys on behalf of Ventura County Board of Supervisor Bob Huber's office. Thank you.
Thank you very much, and please pass on to Bob our appreciation for him and thank him for that award. Thank you.
Micah Moss.
Good evening. My name is Micah Moss, and on behalf of Congresswoman Julia Brownley, I would like to recognize Mayor Mashburn and Councilmember Luevanos for their remarkable service for the city of Simi Valley. Congresswoman Brownley has often said that it is her greatest privilege to represent the people of California's 26th congressional district, which of course includes the Simi Valley. She's worked to move our communities forward and to do all that she can to improve the lives of all of her constituents, and she has done just that in partnership with all of you. You have helped maintain and expand the very aspects of the city that make Simi Valley a truly desirable place to live, to work, and to raise a family. The Congresswoman extends her sincere appreciation to Mayor Mashburn and Councilmember Luevanos for their steadfast dedication and service to the residents of Simi Valley, for their contributions to the city. I am pleased to present Mayor Mashburn and Councilmember Luevanos with a certificate of congressional recognition on behalf of the Congresswoman. She also congratulates Councilmember Mike Judge on his recent re-election, and she welcomes Mayor-elect Fred Thomas and Councilmember-elect Rhodes to the City Council. Congresswoman Brownley looks forward to working with all of you, including Councilmember Kavanaugh and Mayor Pro Tem Litster, to best serve the residents of this great city in the years to come. Thank you.
Thank you, and please pass on to the Congresswoman, that each of us from both councils now, we all very much appreciate her recognition.
Absolutely.
Thank you. Natalie Porco.
Good evening. My name is Natalie Porco. I'm a resident of Simi Valley, and I am very proud to be here tonight on behalf of Mayor Mashburn's oldest daughter, my very dear friend Meryl. Meryl wished she could be here in person tonight to read this speech that she wrote in honor of her father, but unfortunately she couldn't make it, and I'm more than happy to be here tonight instead. Oxford defines patriot as a person who vigorously supports their country and is prepared to defend it against enemies or detractors. A true patriot. Dad, you are a true patriot. You have served your community and fellow citizens since the beginning of your career as a firefighter and continue to do so as a city council member and most recently as the mayor of Simi Valley, the city you love. You served as mayor when our country and community walked through unprecedented times. You were a patriot, always making decisions to support and defend our city and country. As the daughter of the mayor, I have many things I could address or say, but instead, I am simply going to say thank you. Thank you to my friends, family, neighbors, colleagues, and acquaintances for your endless support. Yes, when your dad is the mayor, he is not the only person affected by his position. There is an entire family that has lived these terms with him. Your support has made a difference. In addition, you really learn who your friends are when they show up to hold signs on the street corner. Thank you to the city staff who have been there for my dad over the years, and to Chief Livingstone and the Simi Valley Police Department for always keeping him safe. And to my dad, thank you. Thank you for being an example of what it means to live a life of service. Thank you for your unwavering support of the men and women who protect and serve our city and country every day. Thank you for being the exceptional human being that you are and a person your grandchildren all look up to. You have taught all of us so much by the way you live your life. And finally, thank you for being the best dad a girl could ever ask for. Mason and Jackson would also like you to know that they love you and are proud of all that you have accomplished. Congratulations on your legacy.
Yeah, let this big mouth equal that, huh? Wow. And I must add, the two grandsons, Mason and Jackson, plus we now have an additional grandson, Ledger, that's right here in the Westlake area. But thank you, Merrill, I appreciate. And thank you, Natalie, for doing that.
Pam Campo?
I was just telling my husband, I hope I don't have to follow that. Oh, my. Beautiful. Let's just lighten it up a little bit. Good evening, Mayor and council members. My husband and I would like to take the opportunity tonight to thank you, Mayor Mashburn, for the many years of dedicated service you have given to the residents of Ventura County and Simi Valley. As a first responder, planning commissioner, council member, and then mayor, plus all of the meetings and events and city events and more you have attended on behalf of the city over the years. Thank you. We appreciate the opportunity you're listening and engaging with us when giving you our opinions and even our complaints. You have represented us well and appreciate what you have accomplished for Simi Valley through your outstanding leadership, especially through those difficult COVID years. Well done. We extend our thanks to your family for their support. Let's not forget them. They have also given their service and probably many family dinners you've missed along the way. We wish you all the best in the next chapter of your life, and don't be a stranger to Simi Valley. Congratulations also to our newly electeds. Thank you.
Thank you.
John Lapper?
To Chief David Livingstone, thank you for your wonderful service to our Simi. I sincerely wish you the best moving forward. Really, big thank you. He's been so gracious in communications. To Councilman Luevanos, a big thank you. I always appreciate your fortitude and passion in representing your constituents and values. Keep fighting for all of us and pick and choose your battles wisely. To Mayor Mashburn, I wish you well in your new life in Texas. While we didn't see eye to eye politically, I respect you for personally, for your service to community, and as a goodwill ambassador for Simi. Thank you. Good luck to all of you.
Janice Parvin?
Thank you, John.
Janice Parvin?
I'm going to move this a little bit. Good evening, Mayor Mashburn and council members. I want to congratulate Councilmember Mike Judge and also Councilmember-elect Rocky Rhodes, wherever you are, Rocky, and Mayor-elect Fred Thomas on their successful elections. And I want all of you to be successful. I know you will be because you're going to work hard, right? Because we're all going to be watching you. And I look forward to working with you. But I also want to thank Ruth Luevanos for her work, her dedication to what she believes in, and I wish you all the best in your future. I also want to take a moment to thank Mayor Keith Mashburn. I have thanked him a few times over the past year and a half, maybe 2 years, for your tireless dedication to the community that you love. While serving on the League of California Cities Board, I came across mayors from all across California, but I've never met one quite like you. First of all, you're funny. They're very rarely funny. But secondly, no one has the moral compass you have. And I know the people of Simi Valley know that. There isn't anyone quite like you. And that's why I gave you that gift. I've enjoyed working with you as a neighboring mayor. I've enjoyed our conversations and all of the deep, actually, things we talked about. I really appreciated your openness, and I'm definitely going to miss your honesty and transparency, but I know incoming mayor-elect will do the same. All right. Well, nevertheless, I just want to say how really honored I am to have known you. I hope that our relationship will continue even though you will be living in Texas. But the best part of knowing you is that I can call you my friend. And I think that's the best part of all, is the friendship that we've built together. But I would be remiss if I didn't share a quote from your favorite president of the United States. He's my favorite too. And this quote reminds me of you. Are you ready? Here we go. When you can't make them see the light, make them feel the heat. I wish you and Shelby and the entire family all the best in your retirement, and you will be missed, and I hope you stay in touch, my friend. Thanks.
Thank you very much. I hope everybody realizes this is our new county supervisor for this district, Janice Carmen.
Don Gray?
Good evening, City Council and Mayor Mashburn. I don't have anything written out, but I do want to just thank all of you for everything that you guys have been doing over the years through the different terms that you guys have sat at our City Council. We have not always seen eye to eye on politics, but at the same time, it has to do with what's going on with the residents of Simi Valley. And that's the most important thing that I think all of us have in common, is that we are both and all very much concerned about Simi Valley itself. So Mayor Mashburn, I wish you very best in your retirement. My family is in Texas, so maybe you guys will end up in the same city. This is for Ruth specifically, is that she and I met 4 years ago when she was running for her term, and we became very good friends. And the thing that I really want to emphasize is that when people criticized Ruth, the biggest thing that she was actually just fighting for was anybody that didn't have a voice. And there are a lot of people in our city that don't have voices, and I'm hoping that all of you on the City Council recognize that and will continue to try to fight for those people when Ruth isn't sitting on the City Council. It's not the majority of people that we should be representing, but we should be looking at everybody that is sitting in our seats, sitting in our city, whether they're living in an apartment, a house, or if they're even homeless. Ruth has taught me an awful lot about compassion and caring for others. And I just want to thank her from the bottom of my heart, because I recognize that I wasn't doing enough myself, that I thought that I was giving. And it's interesting how when you really meet somebody that's giving everything that she has for others, that you recognize that you're not doing enough for yourself or for others. And I just want to thank you from the bottom of my heart for everything that you've taught me and shown me, and all of your unbelievable wisdom and courage for standing up at every one of these City Council meetings when people were incredibly cruel, when all you were trying to do was to just represent those that didn't have a voice. So thank you very much. And thank you, Mayor Mashburn.
Thank you.
Mr. Mayor, that was the last speaker.
Okay, at this time, we have a special presentation to make. If I could ask Justin Honsinger and Mike Court to step forward. Recently, here at City Hall, we had an event where well, there's many participants, but these two gentlemen headed up the event and created the Toys for Tots and Touch a Truck. I know I'm going to say one of them wrong, but it's bottom line is it's toys for the children in this community. And they did the Touch a Truck event, which is a no-charge event to anybody that comes. And they brought, I don't know, hundreds and hundreds of children. And then different organizations brought toys along with the just the attendees that came in brought newly purchased toys. And Justin, how'd we do?
We definitely raised a couple thousand toys for the underprivileged children, but actually give it up for Simi Valley Police Foundation and Roy Kahn and Troy Cox, because they were actually the ones behind Touch a Truck, but we had Operation Holiday Toy Drive partnered with Brian McGrath from the fire department, but Touch a Truck was definitely these gentlemen from the Police Foundation.
That's how we... And yourself, Mike, you too. Mike is the guy that in Simi Valley is always not seen, not because of his stature. I love to stand around Mike. All of a sudden, I get taller. But this is the guy that you never see at an event. He's always in the background doing all the work. Yep. Right? And the city wants to acknowledge you and thank you for the work you did on this most recent project you worked on. I know you're always working on one, but the recent one, the Touch a Truck, thank you so much. Okay, thank you.
Mr. Mayor, members of the City Council, the next item on the agenda is item 3A1, adoption of a resolution reciting the fact of the general municipal election held on November 8, 2022, declaring the results thereof and such matters as provided by law. The reading of the resolution is as follows. Resolution number 2022-67, a resolution of the City Council of the City of Simi Valley reciting the fact of the general municipal election held in the City of Simi Valley on November 8, 2022, declaring the results thereof and such matters as provided by law. Mayor Mashburn and members of the City Council, the California Elections Code requires that the city enter into its record the statement of election results following each municipal election. Accordingly, an official copy of the results of the November 8, 2022 general municipal election, as certified by the Ventura County Clerk, is attached to the staff report. Fred Thomas received the most votes for the office of mayor. Mike Judge received the most votes for District 2 City Council member seat, and Rocky Rhodes received the most votes for District 4 City Council member seat. Staff recommends that the City Council adopt the resolution entering a statement of the election results as certified by the Ventura County Clerk on December 8, 2022, into the official records of the city. This concludes staff's report.
Thank you, Mr. City Manager. He knows which button to push when. I think we have the county clerk here, don't we? We do. May I introduce the county clerk, Mr. Mark Lund. Not quite ready to do the swearing in yet, but I wanted to let everybody know who you were and let our people know who makes sure that our votes get tallied correctly. And that's you, sir. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. So, Mr. Mayor, honorable members.
May I make a motion?
Not quite yet. Okay, you may make a motion.
He got ahead of himself a little bit there. So we need to make a motion. So I move to adopt resolution number 2022-67, reciting the fact of the general municipal election and declaring the results thereof and such other matters as provided by law. Thanks to you.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and second. Call for the vote.
The motion passes unanimously.
Mr. Clerk, if you could wait just a couple more minutes and we'll be ready for the big
right.
shoe. Okay, at this time, I'd like the, give the floor to Councilmember Ruth Luevanos.
Thank you, Mayor. It was 4 years ago when the people of Simi Valley elected me to represent them here on City Council. The first woman of color, the first Latina, the first progressive. Some may call me irrelevant and insignificant, but to you I say you are dead wrong. It is only because of my election and presence here as a city councilwoman in the city of Simi Valley that we have had a safe park program, body cams for our police department, the approval and building of affordable housing, including apartments, and proclamations for LGBTQ Pride Month, Filipino Heritage Month, Indigenous Peoples Day, Native American Heritage Month, Hispanic Heritage Month, Women's Suffrage, the first Juneteenth ever, a Black Lives Matter march with over 2,000 residents, and a global pandemic that took many, many lives. I can't tell you how much it means to me to have advocated for our youth through Youth Council, fought against climate change while on the board of directors for the Clean Power Alliance, advocated for the unhoused through the Task Force for the Unhoused, fought for low-income and workforce housing through VCOG and SCAG and locally. Many times, I was the first and only representative from Simi Valley at local and our county-wide LGBTQ Pride events, Juneteenth events. I'm sorry, lost my place. I'm sorry. I went too fast. Regional water board meetings, fighting for clean water for our residents, fighting for the elimination of PSPS events, demanding the full cleanup of the Santa Susana Field Lab, and asking for action on climate change. But that is the true meaning of being a public servant, showing up to serve the public, not those who contribute to your campaign efforts. It is true that I did not win every single vote, but that does not mean that I did not take every single opportunity to educate, enlighten, and expose the corruption and complicity every opportunity that I got. I withstood a recall, death threats, threats for violence, threats against my children, my family, and my friends. I upheld every single part of my oath to uphold the U.S. Constitution and the California Constitution. But I also had the support and gratitude of thousands of residents from Simi Valley and across Ventura County who called, wrote, and emailed to thank me countless times for my advocacy for the LGBTQ community, the Muslim community, the Jewish community, the immigrant community, working parents, women's health rights, workers' rights to unionize, workforce housing, environmental justice through the cleanup of the Santa Susana Field Lab, and so much more. Your words gave me strength, courage, direction, and purpose. And the result of my efforts is that we had more diverse people running for office, including the first Black woman and first Latino running for mayor in the city of Simi Valley ever. Change is coming, and my absence does not signal the end of an era of progress. My courage on this dais has given others the courage to stand up for themselves, to stand up for corruption, to show up at city council meetings for the first time ever, and to run for office. And I know that that momentum will not be lost after tonight. I want to thank my colleagues on the dais for constantly testing my courage, bravery, patience, and integrity. In these past 4 years, you have put me to the test, and I am proud to know that I always rose to the occasion in defending the disenfranchised, standing up to corruption, protecting the underserved, and encouraging a whole new generation of Simi Valley residents to stand up for the same dignity that we are all worthy of, regardless of who we are, who we love, what color we are, what faith we have, if any, what country we come from, and how old we are. All of you on this dais have tested my resiliency, and I have passed the test for 4 years. I want to thank those city staff who fought so hard and continue to fight to bring transparency, accountability, and authentic service to all of our residents here in Simi Valley. You know who you are, and you are not alone. These past 4 years, I saw you, I heard you, and I fought to make sure your hard work was taken into account and acknowledged. I know the work you do is not always easy, but know that I appreciate you, and you truly are the heart of this city. I want to thank my parents and sisters and family who always supported me through this journey. Tíos and tías and primas and abuelos. Whether I was running for city council or running for Congress, you never wavered in your faith in me to be a champion for the downtrodden, a true public servant with the best of intentions. Thank you for listening, for cheering me on, and for loving and accepting me. I want to thank my friends, including those who came to protest, those who came to support, those who came to fight against racism, xenophobia, homophobia, Islamophobia, transphobia, anti-Semitism, bigotry, misogyny, and blatant corruption and discrimination. Thank you for taking time to have the courage to come and fight the good fight. Thank you for supporting me, inspiring me, and fighting for a path for a better future for this city. I have made lifelong friends on this journey, and for that, I will always be grateful. Thank you to my planning commissioner, Don Gray, for always keeping me informed of what was happening in the city's development, and for being my friend and fifth sister. You know what I mean. Thank you to my Jedi for staying late after every city council meeting and making sure that I made it home safely to my family. You are amazing, and I am forever in your debt. To my mother-in-law, Terry, I say thank you for picking up the kids and helping keep our household together during these past 4 years. To my amazing children, Joseph and Jocelyn, without whom this journey would never have even started. It was your courage and hope of your future that inspired me to run and gave me the courage to keep fighting the good fight. Thank you for being there for your mama when it was just giving me a hug, making dinner on city council nights, Jocelyn, thank you, and for knocking on doors with me to convince people why they should vote for your mom, the teacher, for city council or for Congress. You are my reason for constantly fighting for a better world. To my amazing, one-of-a-kind husband, Leo, I have no words to express the gratitude to you I have for staying up for me with those late nights after city council meetings, for listening to me and providing feedback, and for always being exactly who I needed you to be, a patient, loving, forgiving, supportive, compassionate soulmate. I love you more than words will ever say. Now we can finally reclaim our time together. What the future holds for me, why didn't I run again? After having completed a grueling half marathon in a storm yesterday, and after having weathered 4 years in city council, I truly feel I'm ready to take on any challenge. My future holds the LA Marathon in March, along with my student runners, fighting for social justice and data democratization through my company, Sisterhood for Equity, and spending more quality time with my husband, children, and parents, who have sacrificed so much time with me these past 4 years. Creían que nos enterraron, pero no sabían que éramos semillas. Adelante vamos a seguir. We planted these seeds 4 years ago, and I have great hope for the future through the many activists and advocates who have stood by me that we will build a better future for everyone. I was the first because someone had to be, but I know that I will not be the last Latina, last woman of color, or the last progressive to serve on the city council, because we have an environment, healthcare, working rights, clean water, working wages, and affordable housing for everyone to fight for. Thank you so much.
Okay, at this time, I would like to extend the privilege of the floor to myself. And kind of give you a rundown and a goodbye of my time here on the dais. First off, very first thing, the most important thing is each candidate and each elected official has a family. That goes without saying. And we have to remember to thank that family. They take this job probably more seriously than most of us. They get it when they watch it on television. They get it when we come home and complain about each other or celebrate each other. But the thing is they get it all the time, and we can shut it off and kind of hide from it. So starting off, I want to give a big round of applause to my wife, Shelby. If I can get Shelby to stand. And simply thank every family member for what they've done to make it possible for all of us to come in here and try having some sense made of our city and make us go in the, continuing in the same correct direction. My time on the dais has been, I try to keep everything filled with integrity. I always put integrity first, and then, of course, the real question is, how is this decision going to affect the people in the city? That's what we're here for, and that's what we're supposed to serve at all times. Number one, how is it going to affect the people in the city? Now, look at around, we got 130,000 people in our city, so we can't quite get everybody here each week. So we have to do it through the system and let the word get out thanks to the newspapers and the cable TV so they can see what we're doing for them. And you have to always, always remember it's what we're doing for them. It's not about oneself. If you think this is about you, please go somewhere else. This is about serving the people. And there's no place here for me, you. It's for the people who serve the people. We have a nice office here at City Hall. However, it's just an office. We're not hard, full-time employees. We're the liaison between the city of Simi Valley, those that run the day-to-day operations, and the people out doing the day-to-day work and then come home at night and taking their kids to the ball games on the weekends and trying to have a great family life. So it's always about them. Let me move on real quick here. Let's see. I'd like to just hope that you understand that my moral compass is set. And that came from my father many, many years ago. And it came from getting whacked with a stick, getting whacked with a belt when you weren't quite behaving the way you should, and learning that there's something going to happen if you don't behave yourself. When I saw my father reach for his belt, I knew, oh, this isn't going to be good. This is not going to be good. But that set my moral compass, and it stands today. And there's no place for any type of corruption at City Hall. So being no longer a candidate, I got to sit back and watch everybody running for these different positions. And I have to say it was a little entertaining. There were times that I was talking to candidates and I'm going, they have no idea what they're getting into. They have no, they probably don't even know that they're running for council. They think they're running for president. It's just amazing to me. And then there's others in the same group that are quite brilliant and show up at every meeting and do a lot of hard study, and then you go, wow, this is going to be interesting. This guy knows what he's doing. So there's a lot more to it than what meets the eye. And those that will put in a lot of work will turn out, in my opinion, to be the best servants that we can have. And so I look forward to them taking over. We've had a rough few years, and I see this as a great opportunity. What we're going to have is a new council. That new council is going to work together. They're going to collaborate, and thank goodness there's going to be times when they're going to disagree with each other. But there's not going to be a fight. It's going to be, okay, I lost that one. Okay, maybe you see it different than me. But you got to be willing to lose it gracefully and then take over and continue on the next subject matter where maybe both of you will be on the same team and get the best vote for our people. So that's what I serve, that's what I tried doing. I hope I was successful. And I just want to say we've got golden opportunity. This is going to be perfect. We've got a new council, new blood, and that's a good thing. Turnover is good. I'm a firm believer in term limits, and here's part of the term limit type action, and we have a great opportunity. I only wish that we could have this many people at every council meeting. And I understand you do need to learn how to read the agenda, because no, not everybody's going to want to sit and watch an entire council meeting. Once in a great while, just once in a while, they get a little boring. But it would be great if we all were involved in our community. And with that, I want to say I truly enjoyed serving you, and I look forward to this city going on and becoming even more better, if you want to call that good language, more better than what it is today, because this is a great city and it's only got room to grow, and now we have another council that is ready to step up to the plate and make it grow. Thank you very much. One last thing I get to do. If you, council members, we'll start with Councilmember Judge. Any comments that you'd like to make on either of us, that's fine.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I want to thank you both for your service to the city. You said it best. We're up here to do what's best for the city. It's not a personal vendetta. It's for the city. And I can honestly say that both of you have served your constituents outstandingly in your own way. And thank you very much for that.
Thank you. Councilmember Kavanaugh.
Mr. Mayor, the last time, royal rules. Had to get that out there.
What has it been, 4, 6, 8 years I've been trying to teach you? That's
I
not
know.
correct.
But all our high schools are great.
They are great.
Mine was just best. Seriously, both of you gave and dedicated especially the last 4 years for Ruth and more from Keith, to this community, and did what you believed was right in every one of your votes, and stood up for those that you felt needed to be stood up for. And I truly think we all, I hope, do what we feel is best for our community as a whole at all times, and we put our integrity out there to be looked at by every single one of you every single day. It's, you have to think, no, I can't post that, or no, I can't say that, or no, I better not be seen here. You don't think about that. You guys might not, but we have to think about that, because we don't want things taken wrong. We want to make sure that we're here for you, available to you, and I think both of you have done that your entire time on the dais, and I want to thank you both for that. So thank you for your service to this community.
Thank you. Mayor Pro Tem Elaine Litzer. Got it.
You got it. Thank you, Mayor. Actually, I want you to know it's thanks to both of these two people that I'm even sitting here. I don't know if you recall that, but way back when Keith served on the city council and then was elected mayor, the decision was made that there would be an appointment as opposed to a special election. And I don't know if either of you remember that, but both of you actually second time voted for me, so thank you. So I am indebted to both of you in many ways for even being here. But truly, I was starting to make a list of all the things that this council has accomplished together. And I recognized often there were votes that differed, but I truly think that we desired the best for the community, and both of you exemplified that, and I appreciate that. I was making the list, things like safety and fiscal accountability and services for the less fortunate. And anyway, I was starting to make this affordable housing, some of the development. Truly, I think as a group, you always had the best interest at heart. And so thank you both for your service. And I looked out and saw all of these amazing faces. And I recognize that it is our community and what they stand for and what they do that you have exemplified in your service, that you truly have captured what is important and recognized that this community is truly unique and special. Keith, I have to say specifically, I learned from you, council members are not supposed to speed. I've learned from Keith that council members are supposed to have an opinion, and don't you dare say, I'm okay either way. Truly, I know you both have your hearts and spent hours and hours in service and desire for our community, and I wish you both the best in your endeavors. And again, thank you very much for your service.
One last quick statement. I've been accused of all kinds of things. I'm moving to Texas, and I'm chasing grandchildren. We're not running from anything. California's a pretty nice place. Little tax heavy, but a pretty nice place. But we didn't wake up one morning and say, we're going to Texas. We woke up and said, we're following our grandkids, and that's exactly what we're doing. And I just want everybody to know that. Hear it from me. I'm the guy that knows why we're going to Texas. And you're not going to figure it out by reading the Acorn. So anyway, thank you very much.
At this time, the certificates of election and oaths of office to the elected mayor and council members will be presented and administered by County Clerk Recorder, Registrar of Voters, County of Ventura, Mark Lund.
Thank you very much. It's okay this time, right? Because I just looked at three people when you made me sit down the first time, and they went blank. Nothing's changed.
You're doing a great job.
Yeah, thanks. Mr. Mayor, honorable members of the council, ladies and gentlemen, for the record, I'm Mark Lund, Ventura County's Clerk Recorder, Registrar of Voters, and it's a distinct pleasure to be here. The city of Simi Valley allows me to see the fruit of my labor, and they've invited me to this chamber several times to come in to help install folks into their new positions. And it is an honor. We were talking before the meeting started that I'll bet all three of you will say this is the darn hardest job interview that you've ever had. And it really does take a lot, having run for office myself. It takes a lot of your personal stamina to be able to endure what you face on the campaign trail. And so tonight is a good night because I get to take away the elect status of two folks in here and the continuation of a third council member. So we're going to do that by issuing the oath of office, and I'll do that individually to all three of you tonight. And then Lucy will kill me if we do not do the paperwork, so we'll do that after we do the oaths. But for those of you that are in the chamber and are watching on the internet, on television, I know that you've seen the oath of office, and most all of us have taken the oath of office as we entered government service. But as we do this tonight, I'd like you to just think about the words that are included in this oath of office. I've done this hundreds of times, and it's not an overstatement to say that what happens with the oath of office, it's the candidate's promise, public promise, that they're going to conduct the duties of the office to the best of their ability and lawfully. And during this oath, when we're done, it's the peaceful transference of power that occurs for something that we've all seen and probably don't care about. But tonight we do care. And so we're going to call Rocky Rhodes up to be our first person to accept the oath. You want your family? You're first. It's nice to see that somebody gets their hair done at the same place. He has more color in his hair, but we'll see how long that lasts. Okay? So this is a real simple thing. We just ask you to raise your right hand. And I,
Rocky Rhodes,
do solemnly swear or affirm that I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of California against all enemies, foreign and domestic, that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the Constitution of the United States and the State of California, that I take this obligation freely without any mental reservation or purpose of evasion, and that I will well and faithfully discharge the duties upon which I'm about to enter. Congratulations. If those of you are wondering why I appear to be reading here, if you remember a few years ago when Judge Roberts was giving the oath of office to President Obama, I've been plagued with that nightmare forever. So while I've memorized this oath, I make sure that I carry my aid with me so I don't mess up. Mike, Judge? This isn't our first rodeo, is it? No. Congratulations to you as well. Raise your right hand. I,
Mike Judge,
do solemnly swear or affirm that I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of California against all enemies, foreign and domestic, that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the Constitution of the United States and the State of California, that I take this obligation freely without any mental reservation or purpose of evasion, and that I will well and faithfully discharge the duties upon which I'm about to enter. Congratulations, sir. All right, the final duty is for Mayor-elect Fred Thomas. How cool is this, huh? All right. You raise your right hand, please. I
Fred Thomas,
do solemnly swear or affirm
do solemnly swear or affirm
that I will support and defend
that I will support and defend
the Constitution of the United States
the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of California
and the Constitution of the State of California
against all enemies,
against all enemies,
foreign and domestic,
foreign and domestic,
and that I will bear true faith and allegiance
and I will bear true faith and allegiance
to the Constitution of the United States
the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of California,
and the Constitution of the State of California,
that I take this obligation freely
that I take this obligation freely
without any mental reservation
without any mental reservation
or purpose of evasion,
or purpose of evasion,
and that I will well and faithfully
and I will well and faithfully
discharge the duties
discharge the duties
upon which I'm about to enter.
upon which I'm about to enter.
Congratulations, Mr. Mayor.
I got it myself. At this time, I'd like to call on the elected mayor, that'd be you, Fred, and the city council members to the dais. Yes, I would, but not tonight. So, yours is there.
And thanks for not hiding it. When do I get to use this? At this time, I would like to extend the privilege to the floor to our newly elected council member.
Thank you. Wow. It happens faster when you're done. Okay, Councilperson Rhodes, that sounds pretty good. I've run for office twice. I lost once, and I've been elected, and I'll tell you that winning is way cooler. I want to thank those that also ran for this seat. Nancy and Eric are classy people that had the same desire as myself to serve the people of Simi Valley. Thanks for keeping this a positive campaign experience for Simi. There can only be one seated, but I will gladly accept counsel from either Nancy or Eric. We all share the same desire to keep our city a fine place to live. Campaigns have one person out front and many people pushing them forward, and I want to tell you the differences of the personality types. I've been an out front type of person. Seems natural for me. I believe I can do a great job, and I have just enough narcissism to believe I'm electable. To believe that about oneself is easy, but a campaign team member is more gracious and humble. They, too, would be great at the job, but they have chosen to boost someone else and help them get elected. They are so strong in their convictions that they give their time, treasure, and talent in extraordinary ways. I'll tell you that when you have that energy pushing you forward, the sense of obligation to be better every day is always present. I don't want to let those people down, so I work hard to become a better candidate, know a councilperson's job better, to meet more people, to be a better listener, and make better decisions. I constantly feared my complacency because they were anything but complacent. So let me recognize some of my key team members. And if you know these folks, give them a personal thank you along with this public one. I'm only here because of their efforts to make me better. I want to first thank my neighbor, Mike Gennaro. He organized my sign distribution and was consulted by another old friend, Mike McGuigan. I also need to acknowledge the generous efforts of Mike Hilton in getting these installed and removed. Apparently, if your name is Mike, you should be on the sign team. If a campaign is going to be successful, it requires a great strategy, and a great strategy is driven by great data. I was so honored that a power couple joined our team and adopted the campaign and gave us strategy data, walking maps, and record keeping. So thank you, Dirk and Vera, for this essential contribution. Additionally, they organized the where, when, and who to be out sign waving, each chosen by data-driven opportunities. I stated a goal to have the team knock on every door in District 4. We had an amazing and energetic group of walkers. There were many, and I fear I'm going to forget some. If I do, I am so sorry, and I really do thank you, but here goes. Thank you, Leslie and Ron. Tony and Dushan, Dirk, Vera, Julie, Evelyn, John, Susan, Alexander, Lamont, Rick, Louisa, and Anna, and Chris. Thank you all for doing the hard work of knocking on every door. A candidate needs a message, but if no one hears that message, then it is useless. We had an amazing couple step up to organize our social media and coordinate with the print media so the message was heard. Ivana and Dushan spent hundreds of hours making this happen, and we were able to engage with our district. Now they don't know it yet, but I'm going to ask them to set up a presence online so anyone can get information or give feedback directly from or to me. Based on my hair color alone, I can say I need someone else to create this. Campaigns run on money. To all of you that shared your treasure with the campaign, thank you. We had nearly 100 individual donors and raised more than our budget goals. Thank you to Bill Summerhauser for being my treasurer. You risked jail time for my ability to keep receipts. Good luck. Sucker. Endorsements truly help align a candidate with a voter. We had many great endorsements, but I specifically want to thank the Simi Valley Police Officers Association and the Ventura Professional Firefighters Association for hearing my vision and getting behind it. Last but not least, a campaign needs great management, creativity, and vision. I was blessed by not one, but two powerhouse visionaries. To estimate that they spent over 1,000 hours on the campaign would probably diminish the actual work done. Of the two, I want to acknowledge Ivana Mayer first. Beyond the campaign, I'm sorry. All right. If you ever run for office, find someone that doesn't sleep, has a brilliant mind that never stops. I felt guilty at first when I would have an idea and send a text at 10 at night. She would instantly respond back, and when I woke up in the morning, my inbox had an executable plan in it. Ivana, thank you so much for your passion, inspiration, and incredible execution. Last but certainly not least, I want to thank a very special friend. The bond between us started in Rotary. It became a little stronger when I donated a kidney to her husband. If you've not had the opportunity to meet Evelyn Garfield, you've missed an opportunity. If you want to understand her, go stand in the middle of the Junkyard Cafe and look around. You are inside her brain. It's creative, multi-layered, and an intricate genius. Something you have to be careful of, however, is ever doubting that her vision will come true. She can manifest things faster and more quickly and thoroughly than anyone I've ever met. She is my cheerleader, moral compass, and drill sergeant all rolled into one. She believed in me when I ran for school board and again for this run, and with all of my heart, thank you, Evelyn. Beyond the campaign, there are people that are dramatically affected. Running for office affects one's family. My family showed amazing support and sacrifice to allow me to run, and I want to recognize my daughter and her boyfriend who just drove across country 30 hours straight to be here. Thank you very much. Thank you for making that tough journey. My son Dane is at school tonight and couldn't be here, but he helped with the campaign as well as kept me laughing along the way. And finally, my lovely wife, Kim. It's not the first time I've had a crazy scheme, and she puts up with all of them. This is especially hard for her because, like most rational people, she finds the spectacle of politics a difficult one to watch. Sorry, honey, 4 more years of this. To my whole team, the people of District 4, thank you for putting your trust in me. I won't let you down. In fact, I will elevate your voices, and I promise always to do my best to keep the city safe, make this a great place to raise our kids, set a tone of inclusion and gratitude, and fix the dang potholes.
Thank you, Rocky. Now I'm going to extend that privilege to myself, and I do not have a written speech. I'm sorry, Mike. My mistake.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
I'm off to a good start, I say.
I just wanted to say I can't thank the citizens of Simi Valley and District 2 enough for putting your confidence in me for another 4 years. Campaigns are tough, and I want to appreciate everybody that supported my campaign, from people that just chipped in to help out, from putting up signs like Delilah and running around with flyers to hand out, to, John and Miriam that were supportive of me from the get-go at the city club meetings, at the junkyard, which is like our headquarters, secondary headquarters for our campaign. And most of all, I want to thank my family. And if you thought this was going to be a long speech, you were wrong. My beautiful wife, Sarit, in the audience with her mother and father. My middle daughter, standing back there in the plaid shirt, Alexandra. And my son, who turned 22 today, standing back there in the green jacket. I want to thank you all for standing by me during this campaign and helping and doing everything, because, my wife is my treasurer, so she does all the work, yelling at me all the time. Where is the receipts? Where is the receipts? And do you think that's funny? I mean, anyways, again, I just want to say thank you. Congratulations to the new mayor and council member. We're going to do a great job for this city, just like we have been for the last 12 years I've been here. Thank you very much again.
So obviously we have some lessons to learn up here. So as I was saying, I do not have a written speech, but I do have a few things that I definitely want to say. And first and foremost was, I thoroughly enjoyed the process of running for office. I had a blast, and the amount of support and encouragement that I got was actually very humbling, and I really appreciate it. And I hope that over the course of the next 2 years that I can deserve all the support that I did get through my service to the city. I do want to thank everybody that contributed, supported, volunteered their time. Way too many to remember. I don't have them all written down, so I'm not about to even guess, but there's 2 people that I have to specifically acknowledge. One is Mayor Keith Mashburn. Who gave me his support, meant the world to me, gave me a lot of advice, and I will continue to reach out to him in the future. And the other is the hardest working campaign manager that there's ever been, and that's Barbara Williamson. I can't wait to get to work. I want to work hard. I want to actually earn sitting up here, and I hope to have a chance to sit and meet with each and every one of you, hear what you have to say. I want to make it clear that my door is always open, and if somebody has something that they think is right or wrong or different or an idea, I'd love to sit down and talk to you about it, because I do want to be a representative, and I realize that that's what I am in this office. Anyways, thank you, everybody. And And I'm done. So at this time, I would like to recess the city council to a reception in the back. And if we could have all of our council members, past and present, please meet us back there. We're going to take some photos. Okay. Can everybody please take their seats so we can reconvene?
All right.
Yeah. So you just called the order, right? All right, I'm reconvening the meeting of the City Council. This is a call to order. Roll call, please.
Councilmember Rhodes,
Here.
Councilmember Kavanaugh,
Here.
Councilmember Judge,
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Litster,
Here.
Mayor Thomas.
Here.
I had it written down. She'll get it.
If any member of the City Council may have a conflict or interest or any reason why that member must abstain from consideration of any matter on this agenda, he or she should so declare at this time. Anyone? Hearing none?
Mr. Mayor and members of the City Council,
It's a little hard to hear. We're going to have to call to order.
Can we have this quiet in the back of the room, please?
Mr. Mayor, members of the City Council, the next item on the agenda is item 3B1, appointments to the Community Development Block Grant Advisory Committee, and Julia Ramirez is here to present this item.
Good evening, once again, Mr. Mayor, members of the City Council. The 5-member Community Development Block Grant Advisory Committee was established by the City Council in 2006. Members are appointed to provide funding recommendations on annual block grant applications. One committee member is completing her term on December 31st. To fill this vacancy, the Neighborhood Council Joint Chairs nominated Mr. Andy Hanna. The same body nominated Mr. Brian Kane to fulfill an interim vacancy created by way of a resignation. The nominees are in attendance this evening. I ask them now to step forward, please. Mr. Andy Hanna has been in public service for over 28 years, including 24 years with the Los Angeles Police Department. He has volunteered with several nonprofit organizations and has worked with diverse populations in need. Mr. Hanna has previously served on this committee, and although the staff report says that he served in 2022, the correct year is 2021. Mr. Brian Kane retired from the space and satellite industry after a 38-year career. He is active in his homeowners association and with his local parish. It is recommended that the City Council approve and the mayor appoint these nominees to the Block Grant Advisory Committee for their respective terms. Thank you.
Mr. Mayor, if you'd like, I'll motion that we move staff's recommendation to appoint.
And I'll second.
I can get your vote from down there.
He wants to push the button. He's coming up here to vote. No.
Mayor Pro Tem and Councilmember Rhodes were. Thank you. The motion passes unanimously.
So I guess I hereby appoint you to, I just want to thank you for your willingness to spend your time for our city. Appreciate it very much. Congratulations.
Mr. Mayor and members of the City Council, next on the agenda is item 3B2, appointment of Mayor Pro Tem. Mr. Mayor Thomas and members of the City Council, each year in December, the City Council considers the appointment of Mayor Pro Tem and appoints a City Council member other than the mayor to serve as Mayor Pro Tem as well as Vice Chair of the District Authority and President Pro Tem of the Library Board of Trustees. It is recommended that the City Council Boards of Directors, Boards of Trustees consider the appointment to the Mayor Pro Tem, Vice Chair, President Pro Tem positions. This concludes staff presentation.
May I make a motion, Mr. Mayor? Or did you want to speak?
I would like to speak as well.
Yeah, so,
I was going to make a motion, so if you want to speak.
I would like to speak if that's right before
Sure.
motion's
Go
made.
right
But
ahead.
is that all right, Mayor?
yes.
Thank you. It is interesting, in the staff report, it shows who has served as Mayor Pro Tem. And I will say it's been a real privilege and an honor to serve in this capacity this year. And so thank you for my colleagues that gave me that opportunity to serve that way, and I'm most appreciative. But I just want to articulate that I saw great value in the rotational schedule that was informally adopted by our predecessors. And I think that without that, sometimes there's a needless disagreement that's foisted upon us without that rotational process. And so I guess I want to maybe reconsider that rotation. And now, having said that, I understand there are conditions that should govern the rotation. For instance, when it came up in December of 2019, and the staff report recommended Ruth Lewevanos, at the time, I was virtually as new as she was and felt that only having served 1 year was just really not enough experience. And so I guess what I'm saying is that I think rotation is important, but I think there should be maybe some caveats or just some guidance that goes with that. And so, and maybe there should be conversation with the staff, because I guess I disagreed what I thought the rotation was supposed to have been. Anyway, I wanted to suggest consideration of reinstating a rotation that in general offers the opportunity for each council member to serve in that capacity at least one time during their 4-year term. And I would love it if the rotation would consider who served previously, how new they are to the council, whether or not, ideally it's not in their election year, and a rotation based on their own tenure, not the tenure of who they might be replacing. For example, when I replaced Mayor Mashburn, I believe it was actually his turn to be the Mayor Pro Tem. I think it might have been. But obviously, in other words, it wouldn't have been me just because I was replacing him. I guess that's what I'm saying. So anyway, I just want some of that consideration, and I don't know if now's the time to be having a vote to that, but just something to consider going forward, maybe reinstating that. I suspect that who Dee Dee was going to nominate might be who I was going to nominate, but I'll let Dee Dee take the floor and make the nomination.
Mr. Mayor, I move to appoint Councilmember Mike Judge as Mayor Pro Tem, Vice Chair, and President Pro Tem.
And I'll second that motion. That would have been my motion.
Call for a vote.
The motion passes unanimously. Mr. Mayor, members of the City Council, next on the agenda is item 3B3, interview and appointment of planning commissioners, and Stratus Peros is here to present this item.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor. The Simi Valley Municipal Code authorizes the nomination for appointment or reappointment of planning commissioners to scheduled vacancies. Elected during the November 2022 election, Mayor Fred Thomas and City Council Member Rocky Rhodes are authorized to nominate an individual to the Planning Commission to serve concurrent with their City Council terms of office. Council Member Mike Judge was also reelected and therefore must nominate for appointment or reappointment an individual for his Planning Commission appointee. Additionally, the municipal code provides that planning commission nominees shall be interviewed by the council at a duly noticed public meeting and shall be appointed by the mayor upon the approval of a majority vote of all the members of the council. Therefore, it is recommended the city council receive the nominations for planning commissioner from Mayor Thomas, Councilmember Rhodes, and Councilmember Judge, interview the nominees, and approve the nominations. Staff will schedule an orientation session prior to the first planning commission meeting for which the nominees will be seated. That concludes staff's presentation, and we're available to answer any questions.
Any questions? All right. Then Rocky, would you please make your nomination?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor and my fellow city council members. I'd like to present for your consideration a nominee for appointment to the Planning Commission. Before I present that nominee, I'd like to explain the process that I use and what I see as the qualifications of this person. Based partially on the suggestion of outgoing Mayor Mashburn, I chose to make this selection process an open one. Our city is small but mighty, and we have incredible talents. Finding a person that is willing to utilize those talents to protect the quality of life and character of the city is important and should not be taken lightly. I cast a fairly wide net and opened the opportunity to all that wanted to apply. I posted on social media as well as sent letters to neighborhood councils announcing the opening, and as a result, I received 12 requests for interviews. I sent a questionnaire to those 12 and received back 9 responses, and I interviewed all 9 of those either in person or via Zoom. There were 9 people that each had the capacity and experience to do a fine job as planning commissioner, and as someone who needed to choose a nominee, this was both relieving and challenging. I needed to find the best good choice for Simi Valley in both the immediate sense and with a long-term vision. I'd like to thank all the candidates that stepped forward. Your willingness to serve and give of your talents is deeply appreciated, but I only get to nominate one for the position. I'd like at this time to nominate for your consideration and interview Ivana Mayer, and I'd like to explain why I think she would be a spectacular planning commissioner. I first encountered Ms. Mayer right here in this chamber about a year ago. I was sitting in the gallery studying what a city councilman does and trying to understand the issues on the agenda. One of those issues was KB Homes requesting a change and extension to the development in Runkle Canyon. I drove the development that day to try and understand the request of the developer, and to an outsider, the changes seemed reasonable. At the council meeting that day, I witnessed the power of the people in action. An extremely organized group of citizens came forward to speak during public comments. Each one had a compelling facet of the argument against granting KB their request. I watched as minds were changed, including my own, on what should be done on this vote. The organizer of this group was Ms. Mayer. To be successful in this effort, she had to study and understand the planning and development issues, political opportunities to sway opinion, and be organized and committed to planning an ongoing effort to change minds. She did all of those things, and it culminated in a decision that protected the rights of the property owners and protected the character of the city. Ms. Mayer reached out to my campaign after I wrote a post expressing how impressed I was at viewing the people in action, and she offered her service to the campaign and quickly became an integral part of our success. And there's some here tonight who are already warming up their social media keyboards to cynically say, Rocky just appointed someone from his campaign to Planning Commission. The swamp continues. I'm here to ask you to hear me out for just a few minutes before you diminish the talents of a great candidate. Ms. Mayer is a businesswoman. She and her husband own an IT management and social media marketing company. Ms. Mayer is one of the sharpest minds and quickest learners I've experienced in many years of working for both Fortune 500 and running my own business. I would hire her in a heartbeat for any position, knowing that she would be an expert within days of anything that I asked. The biggest reservation I had about nominating Ms. Mayer was the fact that she worked so hard on my campaign and the optics might reflect poorly on me. I shared this concern with her. She also understands that this could have people think less of her talent and that she got this nomination based on association and not merit. Here are the 2 things I told her during our interview. I told her that thank you so much for your efforts on the campaign. I'm sure we would not have been as successful if it had not been for your efforts. I also pointed out that I will thank her in other ways, flowers or cards or candy or coffee, but not with the nomination to Planning Commission. I see these as two separate things, and I would not want her to feel I made this choice on anything but capability to do an awesome job as a Planning Commissioner. I also told her that some have suggested to me that I should appoint Ms. Mayer because she is a woman. I can't tell you how insulting I feel that sentiment is. I've worked closely with her, and it suggests she wasn't worthy of the position on talent alone. I assured Ms. Mayer that gender played no role in my decision as well. My nomination of Ms. Mayer is based on the criteria I used in interviewing all candidates. She benefited from the fact that I've seen her in action, and as an advocate for her community, a leader on issues, and someone that people wanted to follow because she always had the best for others top of mind. I invite you now to find out for yourself what I already know. Ms. Mayer will be an outstanding planning commissioner, and I hope you ask her some really tough questions.
Okay, it's now time to interview Ms. Mayer. Who would like to start? Edie?
I'll do one. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Ivana, I've gotten to know you a little bit, and I'm looking forward to having this conversation with you. They gave us some questions that we could possibly use. I think this one, question number 4, what are some of your interests, background, education, or experience that may be related to you being a planning commissioner? That way you can tell us about yourself.
I am actually a software and electrical engineer, which has no connection to Planning Commission. But I did take time when my neighborhood, this was the first time that I actually encountered any kind of planning or anything that I needed to learn super fast about and research. And there was a lot of help from a lot of you guys here. But I also had to do my own research along with a couple of other people from my community. So thank you, Rocky. It was a joint effort. If we didn't all come here to have our voices heard, it would not have happened, or it might have happened, I don't know. But at that point, I realized that I have a lot of passion for not just planning, but my community. And I also feel like I can listen to people, their opinions, and have their voices heard like you guys did. Like a lot of you guys led by example, and make up my mind that somehow is going to benefit the whole community and the future of that community.
Thank you.
Mike?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Okay, Ivana, hello.
Hi.
I too got to know you during this campaign, and that was a pleasure meeting you and a pleasure getting to know you.
Thank you.
You've answered a lot of these questions in that short statement you just gave. I'll give you this one here. What are some of the things in Simi Valley that could use improvement in terms of our current development?
Oh my God, that's the same question Rocky asked me. I feel like our city is beautiful, and we need to keep on working together in making it Simi Valley. And that was one of my answers, that even though we do have state mandates, and that's something that we can't escape, we can also invite different developers that would build projects that we want. We can make our city attractive to different businesses, and we can also make our own mind on what we're gonna do and kind of lay it out. I had a pleasure of actually having help with different people who are different planners in different cities. So they gave me some ideas that I shared with Rocky that I feel like you guys are gonna like. Not to be super long.
Rocky, I think you've answered all your questions, so.
Oh.
If I could ask a question too.
Absolutely.
But if that's all right, Mayor. Well, first of all, you have come to this body and spoken on several occasions, and I appreciate that you have been very involved in the city, and I think that that's worthwhile. Now, my first question, which is really not, I know you as Natalie.
Yes. Okay, and the answer to that question, my first name is Natalie, my middle name is Ivana. Everybody knows me as Ivana.
Okay. So I'm not wrong. Okay, I'll try to make it Ivana from here on out.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Natalie. I'll just, I think that was, we probably introduced that way initially. What do you see is the role of a planning commissioner?
I feel like, and that's also a question that Rocky asked me, so I know all of the questions, but I feel like the role is to be in touch with the community, to be one of the first opinions in between the city council and the community, and to kind of extend that towards whoever appointed me and in between the city, to communicate that in a way that maybe if people felt like super intimidated to just come directly here in regards to that project, something like a neighborhood council would do, this is also an opportunity for the first hearing of like a different project, different opinions would come to the planning commissioner. So it would be an extended of what a city council member does, and I feel like I could represent his values. Wow.
And I appreciate that. And if you don't mind me, just a follow-up question.
Yeah.
I know that when you came, and I appreciate this, it was because of a housing development issue problem that you were facing at the time.
Yes.
How, obviously, when the Planning Commission looks at industrial development, it looks at high-density development, it looks at commercial development, it looks at a variety of development. Do you have kind of a philosophy about all those different types of development, or do you feel like you can be embracing of all those elements in the planning process?
So to be perfectly honest, I had to read a book that was given to me by a city planner, and it was the planning in California. And that person told me, you need to read this book so that you can understand our job, so that you can well represent your potential job, because I was still not sure that I'm going to get that position. In that period of time, I learned a lot about different projects, not just residential projects. And all of those projects need to work together. So all of those areas need to be present in a city so that city can be successful.
Thank you, Ivana. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Okay. I guess my question is, if in this role you were considering a proposed project, are you able to remain unbiased and undecided during that process and base your final decision purely on the evidence provided and the merit of the project?
Yes, if it doesn't come to my community, which would exclude me either way.
And one last question. So exactly why would you like to be a planning commissioner?
Why would I like to be a planning commissioner? I feel like and I think I already told her, Ms. Kavanaugh, that I would like to do well for the community. I would like to give back to my community. I feel like this would be a first step for me to give back to the community so that I can work well with others. I can hear other people's voices, and I can put whatever I have in my mind and ideas that I have in my mind and kind of combine what people do want from this city and represent us.
Okay, thank you. Well, having gotten to know you during the campaign thing, I've been pretty impressed with you.
Thank you.
All right, so I
Mr. Mayor, if
guess,
you're willing to entertain a motion,
yes.
I move that we appoint, or that you appoint and we approve, let me see, Natalie Ivana Mayor as Planning Commissioner for the City of Simi Valley.
I'll second.
Call for a vote.
You vote no.
The motion passes unanimously.
Thank you, and thank you, Rod.
Okay, Mike?
I'm going to reappoint my planning commissioner, Ken Rice, to the planning, or I'm going to bring him up for your interview for the planning commission. Ken has been in my opinion, a great planning commissioner for the last 12 years. And he has a great vision of this city, similar to mine, and I think you'll be very impressed with him and his knowledge.
Rocky, you have a question?
All right. Welcome back.
Thank you, councilperson.
I got to talk with many of the planning commissioners in this process, and I don't think you and I really got an opportunity to talk and converse. And so it's nice to be meeting you.
Thank you.
I've heard only great things about you. And so I would then ask this question. Of all the things you worked on in the Planning Commission so far, what was the most interesting and thing you're most proud of?
Oh, boy. Well, honestly, the thing I'm most proud of never got built. And that's one of the saddest part about being on the Planning Commission is oftentimes some of the best projects that get brought forth to us was actually a business project, which was supposed to be on Guardian Street. It was a beautiful business park.
Sorry to interrupt. I would be as general as possible in case this project were
Oh,
ever to come before
okay.
you again.
It can't be because there's another project that was built on top on that same So can I use that as an example or no?
Unless you know 100% unequivocally.
No, it's 100%. There's another project on top of it.
Okay.
So that's been built. So I know. But it was a business part. It was architecturally gorgeous. It was absolutely beautiful. And it would have been a star in Simi Valley's cap. It absolutely would have been. And we wanted it and we approved it and he came back again to get it extended and we approved it again and it just never got built. It just couldn't be done. And that's one of the sad things. We've had other projects which we didn't like, but unfortunately, because of state law and other things, we've had to because we've kind of been backed into a corner because of the way the laws work. And we get into this situation where, and that's one of the things with being on the Planning Commission is that we have to follow state law. We have to follow the California Environmental Quality Act. And if we don't do that and a developer ends up suing us, then that money, if they end up suing us, that money gets, and we lose, that means that those potholes never get filled that you were talking about. And so the people get mad that the development gets built and those potholes never get filled. So that's one of the problems we face. So we get the people who show up with the pitchforks and the torches, and then they get mad at us again too. So I hope I answered your question.
Thank you, and I have no further questions.
Elaine, I know you were.
Aren't those fun buttons? He has buttons in front of him that tells us when we're in the queue to. He's learning that.
It's kind of fun,
The tools of
actually.
the trade up here, huh? Thanks, Mayor. So Kent, thank you for 12 years of service.
Thank you.
Do you want to continue doing this?
I like the service on the Planning Commission. One of the things I truly enjoy about the Planning Commission is that it's definitely not as political as being on the council. We do, I know. we do get along. There are times where there's a lot of difference. There are times where there are hard feelings, but those hard feelings go away pretty quickly. We know that it's not personal. We do care about this city. We want every building to look as good as possible because we know that every building that gets approved is going to be there for a very long period of time.
And I appreciate that, and we do appreciate your service. Do you have any specific concerns right now about the planning process?
About the planning process itself? Since I've been on there, I think the planning process has gotten better and better. I think that we've definitely improved the way that the architecture works, the four-sided architecture, and I not necessarily no. I don't.
Okay. Thank you.
Sorry.
Appreciate it.
Yeah.
Dee, you have any questions?
Thank you. I also want to thank you for your 12 years of service. And I do believe having varying experience on the Planning Commission is an asset. So, we're having a brand new person come on. If we keep you, you'll be our senior person. And then we have a couple in a senior. Sorry about that. The beard's a little gray now, Ro, okay?
It's okay. It's okay.
But you'll be the senior in experience on the commission. And I think having the varieties there is beneficial to us. My only thing is, are you sure you still want to do another 4 years?
I absolutely do.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Well, Mike, I assume you're good? Well, I really appreciate the fact that you've made such a commitment for so long. You're willing to continue, and I appreciate the fact of having someone with that much experience on the Planning Commission. What do you see being challenges moving forward right now?
I really think that one of the biggest challenges we've had is the kind of developments that are being brought forth to us. But I think, honestly, I think that the city's done a really good job of trying to encourage developers to bring us good projects. There was a time there where some of the projects were, I don't know, for lack of a better term, some of them were kind of wonky for a while. And now I see where some of the projects actually have a lot of merit. And I could see that the city's had a lot of kind of their hand in the, trying to encourage the developers before they even get to the planning commission, said, hey, maybe, if you want to get this through the planning commission, you should probably, do this or do this. And then it comes to us and we push them a little bit and they make some changes before it comes to, and if it comes to you, then, you're seeing a much better project than you would have seen maybe 8 years ago or something like that. So I definitely think that the city's done a good job.
I agree with that. I'm glad to hear that because I think that's what we have to do to combat some of the challenges we have right now.
And if I could, Mayor?
Yes.
I just want to say that in the time that I've been here, I really appreciate all the planning commissioners that I've worked with, whether it's McGuigan or Santino or Mary Bibb or, gosh, now I'm forgetting them all because there's been so many, I guess, But every planning commissioner brings something different. And every one of them has taught me something different about the planning process. Even Dawn Gray, who was only here for 2 years, she brings something different. Or Castleberry, who was only there for 2 years, brought something different. And so every one of them has brought something different. And so I just appreciate everybody's different perspective. And every one of them has taught me something new. And Commissioner Hodge especially, who sometimes drove me crazy with his nitpicking little details. But at the same time, I understood where he was coming from, and I really appreciated that. And I think that, every single one of those people really cares about the city. So, thank you.
Okay, do we have a motion?
Mr. Mayor, may I move that we approve Mr. Ken Rice and that you appoint Mr. Ken Rice to the Planning Commission?
Second.
Call for a vote.
The motion passes unanimously.
Thank you.
Okay, so now it's my turn. I spent a lot of time thinking about this. It was hard for me to, appoint somebody because I have kind of mixed emotions on this. But I wanted to make sure that I found someone that I felt was, more than qualified for the job. Talked to quite a few people about it. And the person that I have decided to nominate is Lee Kennedy.
And I thank you for that.
Sure, Rocky?
Mr. Kennedy, as a neighbor 5 doors down, I want to talk to you about your Christmas display. You and I have had the opportunity of knowing each other over the years, and we even talked at length about the Planning Commission. I appreciated your conversation and your candor about ways that we can, on the Planning Commission, work with or around some of the Sacramento laws. Could you tell us what you see as some potential opportunities to take some more autonomy back to the city as opposed to what we are now currently having to give to Sacramento?
I'm going to immediately defer to council. It's a difficult situation with SB 9 and the other 20-plus SB bills that have come down, affecting how to grow the city and keep the direction that the city wants to go. I've been following some of the litigation in those areas. The HOAs, the CCNRs, haven't been addressed correctly yet. And I know there's some ongoing lawsuits with that. But I think we're pretty well have to follow those ordinances. I like what Commissioner Rice said. We need to pick and choose those projects well, right? Our communities need to be informed about the impact that they're going to have, specifically in the residential zoning areas. So,
Thank you, and I have no further questions. Mike?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Lee, I know you're a fixture in a lot of our nonprofits here in the city and that you've participated on city boards. Please tell me the one you're most proud of participating on.
wow. Well, I really enjoyed chairing the Budget Advisory Committee. I think this was some hard financial times prior to the pandemic, and we did a pretty good audit over those 4 or 5 years of all the city departments, and we're able to convey that to city management and staff. From our perspective, I was told that maybe I had a different perspective than some other people, coming from running small businesses and executive level and Fortune 500 companies. So I think we did a really good job with that. My time at the Police Foundation, that's probably one of the most rewarding personally, because I get to see the impact of that with our law enforcement here. And so I hope to continue with that as well.
Thank you. The reason I asked that question was because I know you did serve on our Financial Advisory Board, and you did a great job on that board. For people that don't know, that board was staffed by people that the council picked to be on it, and they gave us great feedback on where we where we were looking to save money in our city because of the time we were going through a financial hardship. So I appreciate your service on that board, and that was, to me, that proved you have a stellar common sense. Thank you very much.
My wife might disagree, but yes.
Dee Dee?
Thank you. I'm going to kind of take an easy one for you, because I know you too well already. So what type of prior experience do you have related to the real estate industry or development project?
Oh, well, I have personal experience with projects, both commercial and residential, that go back many, many years. Currently, my wife and I are real estate appraisers, have been since the early 80s. We continue to keep our license and E&Os up. Did a lot of complex properties, both residential and commercial, during my career. My wife's a real estate broker, but hopefully there won't be any problems there. I currently run and own a data and analytics company in the real estate sector. Basically, the 2-minute elevator pitch on that is Zillow, an automated evaluation model. There's about 30 of those out there. I'm the testing entity for all of those automated evaluation model systems for both the government and private sector enterprises, banks, securitizers such as that. We stress test those models, we build those models. I do a lot of expert witness work with those models, which all involve real estate. And that involves highest and best use, zoning, environmental conditions. I also kind of, what do they call it now, a side hack, run an environmental inspection company. And my original background was in nuclear engineering, so kind of have the chemistry and mathematical background to do that.
Elaine?
Thank you, Mayor. As you're going through this list of all the many things that you have and do, I'm thinking you might be overqualified, so we'll have to.
But it's volunteer.
It's
right?
Okay. No, I do appreciate. I very much appreciate what you've done for our community and for the city. The data you gave us as far as the budgetary information was fascinating. And then the surveying, I believe you did 2 different, as I remember, some different surveys for polling for the city that was just very
I think there was
instructive.
3 surveys total, but yeah, that was kind of the pro bono work on some other surveys that you guys were doing. Yeah.
So thank you for all of that service. Do you see do you see that there would be a conflict in any way because of your real estate appraisal or some of that you do? Do you see there could be a conflict, or is that an asset to this position, do you think?
Right now, I think it's an asset. We've got the grandkids, so neither one of us are doing appraisals anymore. So, and my other business is more national and international in scope, nothing local on that spectrum right there. So I don't see any potential conflicts there.
Wonderful. And I'm curious, just because I want to know your vision. What do you see as some of the things in Simi Valley that could use improvement or initiatives or things that, in terms of current development, what would you like to see happening?
I need to know a lot more, but at the same time, I've been through growth and recession cycles here. Been here since the early 80s, so we've seen both of them. And the city has really done a great job, in my opinion, of getting the zoning correct. And I'm sure that's part of what the Planning Commission. High density is next to high density, commercial is next to commercial. And I know some of the SB laws coming down, changing commercial to residential is going to be problematic. So I think the vision is to keep our city like it is as much as possible within the confines of the state bills that are mandated.
Wonderful. Thank you, Lee.
Mr. Mayor, if you're ready to entertain a motion.
Yes.
I move that Lee Kennedy be approved by
Second.
us and appointed by you to the Planning Commission.
Second.
Yeah. Call for a vote.
The motion passes unanimously.
I look forward to working with you all. Thank you.
Thank you, Lee. Thank you.
Mr. Mayor?
I therefore appoint those three nominees.
Mr. Mayor, members of the City Council, next on the agenda is item 4, public statements. Mr. Mayor, since there are no public hearings under agenda item 5 this evening, agenda items number 4 and 6 are combined, and the council will hear public statements under agenda item 4. Agenda item number 4 and agenda item 6 are the times allotted for public statements on all items other than public hearings, appointments, and informational reports. Speakers will be called in the order in which the card was submitted to speak for public statements item 4 for a period of no more than 3 minutes each. Persons addressing the City Council are requested to state their name and community of residence for the record. Mr. Mayor, unless you have any other comments, we can begin public statements.
Proceed.
Thank you. Our first speaker is John Lapper.
Mayor and City Council. First off, welcome to Mayor Fred Thomas and Councilman Rhodes. I'd like to repeat some tips from the last Acorn issue and myself, guiding the council to be the best you can for our city. 1, do your homework. 2, respect and communicate with the residents at the expense of the needs of our city. Don't go into, excuse me, I screwed that one up, but here we go. Don't go into trying to make friends at the expense of the needs of our city. Be flexible, but don't be too quick to abandon your convictions. Embrace the public part in public official that you are. If you don't like everything in the Acorn and social media, get over it, because now you are an open book, and it's no longer me, the private citizen, or me, the elected representative. It's about us and treating all residents of Simi Valley equally and fairly, and separating politics from the person. My holiday wish list, some unfinished business I'd appreciate an update, and this is on the flawed proposal to remove 63 eucalyptus trees on Sinaloa Road. My last 2 emails to City Manager Brian Gabler have gone unanswered. I'm amazed at all the beautiful eucalyptus trees around on Sinaloa Golf Course and bordering the 101 freeway in Montecito. Surely they wouldn't be in harm's way if they were a hazard, as our city government has deemed Sinaloa Road. And to Robert Kilpatrick, who insinuated on Nextdoor that a eucalyptus tree fell during the last winds, that was false. They've survived for the last 70 years plus. I am hopeful for more motorcycle traffic patrol officers to defer the out-of-control problem of speeding, distracted driving, and resultant traffic accidents. I'd be curious to hear about the private city council sections moving forward that always result in City Attorney David Caceres always saying nothing to report. Surely city transparency says otherwise. Lastly, I'm hopeful that our new unanimous, nonpartisan Simi Republican City Council members work with our Democratic Assemblywoman and State Senator and not fight Sacramento with our tax dollars and workarounds. And finally, I hope everyone has a safe and wonderful holiday season. I look forward to your work moving forward. Thank you. We have one independent in the crowd.
Bruce Boyer.
Oh, no.
Good evening. For the three of you that don't know me, I'm Bruce Boyer, and I'm a resident of Chatsworth Lake Manor, Ventura County. I was hoping I could be first public comment for you too, so welcome, but I'm not. So I come to you as the litigant. I have an ongoing federal civil rights lawsuit against the city, going on for 4 years now. I got a second federal civil rights lawsuit against the city. That's been given to Mr. Caceres. We have a state lawsuit as to free speech issues, which you all are going to be a part of too. And then we have another state lawsuit coming up. Why do I have to sue the city? Because in 2016, when Bob Huber and the city council said, we're going to make free speech illegal, I said, no, you're not. And what the city council did, them, 2 of you and 3 others, criminalized our free speech. That American flag on a legally parked trailer, on a bicycle, or on a lawn chair is a crime in Simi Valley. Any other message? That's a crime too. They criminalized free speech. So I came to the city council, I said, y'all need to reconsider this. I've been a litigant in federal court for a long time. You either retract it or I'll sue you. Let's have a conversation. You explain to the people why this is okay. I remember going to a city club meeting and explaining what the city council did, and somebody went, who would vote for that? Well, Keith and Mike stood up and kind of raised their hands. Yeah, who would vote to criminalize our free speech? Every one of you, and I as a candidate, and as a United States Army soldier, swore an oath to uphold and defend the Constitution of the United States. You did it tonight. Our freedom of speech. If I want to park my bicycle, I have a right. And if I want to put a flag on my bicycle, I have a right. And if somebody wants to put up a sign that says vote for Rocky or vote for Joe or vote for Bruce, that's called our First Amendment. So I tried to get this city council to come to reason. I said, let's have a conversation. Let's have a public forum. I couldn't even have a conversation. I said, okay, so what happened? We filed a lawsuit. And how'd that turn out? I won. And what did the city do in April of 2021? You doubled down and came up with another version. So now we're going to go to mediation. I'm asking this city council to have transparency, have a public forum. Mr. Caceres and I can explain the positions, let the people know what's going on. And I'll tell the city council, you new people have no idea what's going on. And Mike and Dee Dee and Elaine, you actually don't know either, even though you've been here. I'm out of time. Thank you.
Mr. Mayor, that was the last speaker. Next on the agenda is item 4, City Council comments regarding public statements.
Rocky? Thank you, Mr. Mayor. John, and I read the Acorn as well, and I took that advice to heart, and I hope that we have a great 4 years of working together.
Dee Dee?
Thank you. I was just going to agree. I liked the Acorn article. I thought it was a perfect time with all our new electeds coming in, and it actually stopped and made you think as I read it, okay, did I do this or am I doing that? So I think if we all take the time to reflect on who we are and what we do, it's all for the betterment of us. So thank you for bringing that up, John.
Elaine?
Thank you. John, one of the things that you mentioned in your comments that I appreciated, you talked about hoping that we would work well with our state representation regardless of political affiliation. And I just wanted to actually say that this past week, Mayor Mashburn and I, myself attended a wonderful over at the train station where we acknowledged that Jackie Oren has helped basically receive about $10 million that will be put into our community, 4.5 of which is going to be for rail crossing improvements that will make Silent Zone and it has some real benefits. And so I just want to let you know that absolutely we are committed to working with our representatives and appreciate them regardless of political affiliation. We know that we are here about our city's business, and that's what's important. And Mr. Boyer, we always appreciate that you want to come and speak to us. As I understand, when there is a lawsuit involved, generally that is done in a closed session setting. So anyway, that's all I have to comment about right now. Thank you.
Mike, did you have any comments?
No, Mr. Mayor, I have no comments. Thank you.
Well, I appreciate anyone that's willing to come in and state what's on their mind. And John, specifically, we've had a couple of conversations, and I did see your article in the paper, and it was meaningful. And the stuff that we talked about, stuff that I take to heart, and I do plan on working with anyone that's willing to come and work with me. So.
Mr. Mayor, members of the City Council, next on the agenda is item 7, the consent calendar. There is one resolution for your consideration this evening. Consent item 3, resolution number 2022-68, a resolution of the City Council of the City of Simi Valley establishing the City Council meeting schedule for the calendar year of 2023.
Mr. Mayor, I do have one comment. I believe Mayor Pro Tem Judge may have a conflict on one date.
Yes.
On consent item 3.
Trying to find the calendar.
I believe it was April 17.
Yes, April 17th. Yeah, I can't make that day, so if we can change that, that would be great.
So we can move that either to the week before, April 10, or a week after, April 24th, whatever the council's pleasure is.
I'm good with either day.
I'm good with either day.
Great. Cool.
Elaine, your thoughts?
Checking calendars.
Yeah.
Yeah, either day is absolutely fine. Easter Sunday weekend is the 9th, 10th. I don't know if that makes any difference. But the 10th or the 24th, absolutely fine.
Cool with the 10th? So move it to the 10th? Would that work?
Fine with us?
Yeah.
It's fine.
Perfect, thank you very much. And just the first time I've ever asked to have a date change. 12 years. Thanks.
12 years.
Appreciate it.
So would you like a motion, Mayor?
Yes. So with that change, do we have a motion?
Yes, if we're not pulling any of the consent items, I move that we approve consent items 1, 2, and 3.
Second.
Call for a vote.
The motion passes unanimously. Mr. Mayor, members of the City Council, next on the agenda is item 10A, City Council member reports.
Okay, so this time, Maki, do you have any reports?
Since our last meeting, I have attended no other functions.
So just thinking the same thing. Mike, how about you?
Thank you. Oh, since our last meeting was only a week ago, I did attend I don't have my calendar in front of me. Oh, I forgot to grab that. Yesterday I attended the goodbye party for Mayor Keith Mashburn. It was a very great party. It was well attended. It was a great party, and I'm sorry to see him go. I'm very happy that you're here, Fred, and I know you're doing a great job as mayor. So take nothing away from you. I like Keith. He's a good friend, and he did a great job as mayor. So I'm going to miss him. And his party was spectacular. Thank you, Troy, for letting us use your house. If you're still around listening. We did have a chamber breakfast on Friday. I went and heard Linda Swan give her stellar review of the city. Always good to hear. And that's about it for my report I can think of. Thank you.
Dee Dee?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I missed the party at Troy's house because it was my daughter's birthday, so had a little precedence over there. So happy birthday. I won't say how many years. So the only thing I had during the week was Wednesday, December 7th, we had our EDC Executive Board meeting. We won't have our regular full board meeting until January. We'll have our annual event there, which is dinner. People are invited. The one thing I did want to bring up is one of the speakers mentioned, working with our assembly people and stuff. So Assembly Member Jackie Irwin did already get a grant. I want to think it's $5 million to do upskilling, which is where the EDC, the Employment Development Collaborative, we will assist small business in helping you train your employees with newer skills so they're able to move up in their community, in their work, and or to give people skills to get an entry-level job. So that's something we're going to be working on very, very closely here in the next year. We have a gentleman in charge of it that's ready to go, so I'll probably have more of that probably in the first quarter. You'll start hearing more of a report on that. So that's it. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Lynn?
Thank you, Mayor. Wednesday, December 7th, I had a delightful opportunity to sit down with our soon-to-be Mayor, Fred Thomas, and I was grateful. He gave me a couple hours of his time to just sit and visit about the state of our community and what he'd like to get done. And I will tell you that I was encouraged by our conversation, and I know that he has great vision. So I just share that with you. And there was no violation of the Brown Act because he wasn't mayor yet. But Thursday, December the 8th, I represented the city attending the Simi Valley Ed Foundation Teacher of the Month gathering, and wanted to recognize Kelly Weiss, who is a special education teacher at Crestview Elementary, and appreciate her service. And she was nominated by a colleague who very much appreciated what she's been doing. It was kind of a musical weekend for me. Anyway, I don't need to go with all those things, but I will say yesterday, Sunday, December the 11th, I also was there representing the city for the ribbon cutting of Karen Troop, who and Mike Judge was there as well, but celebrating 40 years of membership in the Chamber of Commerce, and that's quite a record to be serving and working in our community for 40 years. And so it was an honor to be there and recognize her and all of her contributions to our community. And welcome, both of you. It's going to be a delight to serve with both of you. And that concludes my report. Thank you.
I'm sorry I'm bad. I didn't say welcome. Welcome to both of you. Thank you.
Okay, I have no report. So at this time, I am going to call for any future agenda items. Hearing none, I'd like to call for a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Well, I don't know. Do we ever motion for adjournment?
Okay.
No, I like it. You can do that. I like this.
It says right here, call for a motion to adjourn.
I like this. This is the new precedent. So, okay, wonderful.
We're adjourned.